have 4 children, and I think they're pretty great. I can remember when they were small and tickling their little cheeks and their little toes and just being enamored with all of the funny and silly things that they did and they said. And I'm still find myself laughing and enjoying my children. And like I said, I think they're pretty great. But, in the first century, great is not what most people thought of when they thought of kids. You see, in the first century, children had one of the lowest social statuses there were. They were, difficult to keep alive because of sanitation and health issues. And though parents wanted their their children to survive and to thrive, it was a hard time for children. That's why what Jesus says in Matthew chapter 10 is so surprising. And starting at verse 13, people were bringing little children to Jesus for him to place his hands on them. But the disciples rebuked them. When Jesus saw this, he was indignant. He said to them, "Let the little children come to me, and do not hinder them, for the kingdom of God belongs to such as these. Truly, I tell you, anyone who will not receive the kingdom of God like a little child will never enter it." And he took the children in his arms, placed his hands on them, and blessed them. Isn't that a great story? Here we see Jesus telling the children, letting his disciples bring the children to him. The disciples knew that Jesus was someone really important. He was someone great. And they didn't feel like he should be bothered by children, people of such a low status in society, that they weren't worth the master's time. But Jesus, he turned that around. In the kingdom, the least are the greatest, and they are worth our time. They are valuable. And then Jesus says that we have to receive the kingdom like a little child. Sometimes we think, well, little children, they're innocent and, they're humble and all of these things. But really in the first century, they didn't think those things about children. I really think that Jesus is talking about their status here, that they didn't do anything to earn their place in the kingdom of God. They didn't get there because of their greatness. They got there because someone enabled them to, because God gave them a gift, and they received it because it was given to them. Us too can receive the kingdom like a small child. Nothing that we did nothing to deserve it, and we certainly didn't earn it. I heard a quote earlier this week, and it really has stuck with me. It is this: anyone can be great in the kingdom of God because anyone can be a servant. That really here is what Jesus is talking about, that we're switching things around in the kingdom of God. The least are the greatest, and those of low stature, those of low status are valuable and important. How will you show the kingdom to someone else this week? Let me know in the comment box below.